Hi, I'm David Penn, research analyst with Finovate. We're here at FinovateSpring in sunny San Diego, and joining me is Merlin Bise. He is the CTO of Inbenta. Merlin, it's great to have you with us.
Awesome, David. Likewise. I'm super excited to be here and look forward to the conversation.
Fantastic. Well, I thought maybe to start things off, you could tell us just a little bit about yourself and the work that you do for the company.
Yeah, so I'm the Chief Technology Officer at Inbenta, and I obviously drive the innovation and product, moving it forward and modernizing what we do in the AI space. As you know, AI is moving at a warp speed, so I would like to say I'm kind of in charge of chaos, but it's super exciting to be involved with Inbenta, fast-growing AI business.
Absolutely. It's really something for those of us who've been around from the dot-com days to think we could have something else that could be anywhere near as big as that, and this threatens to be even bigger. It's really something else.
No, it's quite extraordinary. I've lived through obviously the telecom side and dot-com happening. This is massive, I think, compared to anything. And I don't know in our lifetime if we'll see something this crazy.
Yeah.
I would love to be a 20-year-old right now and us talking about what we're going to go build. Because that's essentially what it's creating this innovation pathway, I think, for youth that, which is good. They need things to do, but it's going to open up a lot of opportunity for people.
Right. Well, let's talk about some of those opportunities. You've been here at FinovateSpring, you've been out on the floor, you've been able to talk to some of the financial institutions. What are you hearing from them about some of the ways that they're implementing AI?
Yeah, so I mean, I think in the past they've done the simplistic implementations where you simply have a chatbot you put on a website that can answer some questions and hopefully not offend customers. And I think now they're starting to figure out with the encompassing voice and other digital channels to communicate with AI, they're starting to figure out there's more complex things they can do. So, I was speaking on a podcast a couple of days ago, we were talking about escalation calls not going down. Well, it's back to what you just talked about. The reason they haven't went down is they've only solved the simplistic thing, so people still want to talk to humans. So AI is capable of solving more complex tasks, and I think AI is getting much safer, and I think people are starting to enforce where organizations that are selling AI have to offer transparency and governance. So I think you'll see it just expand to a lot more complex situations and help solve, repeatable things that customers need help with, because everybody wants things fixed fast.
Absolutely, absolutely. Let's talk a little bit more about the evolution of financial institutions and their relationship with AI. What are some of the more common mistakes or things that you've heard about when it comes to some of the AI investments that companies are making that they may be things that they might have done wrong?
Yeah, so I think that, the initial wave a couple of years ago was they didn't want to get left behind. So everything was being sold based on fear. There's two ways to sell, really easy to sell things is fear and emotions. But I think that was what was driving it. I think today they've taken a step back and said, hey, should we actually be building? Some cases they built previously, they're like, why should we be building AI that's already solved? We should be building AI that impacts our core offering. Let's let other companies that know how to do chat and search and voice bots and these things really well, if we can trust them and they're willing to build a relationship with us, let's let them do that. Let's focus on our core. I think the other thing they did in the past is they've overspent. And what I mean is they've paid people a lot of money that basically unwrapped an unfilled promise. And so I think now they're demanding more out of AI providers. I think the days of POCs basically masquerading as a way to get a lot of professional services money has changed. They're going to require pilots, and they're going to want to really kick the tires on the car and make sure it performs before they commit. And I think they should. That's really, relationships are built on trust.
Yes.
And then you can navigate into some loyalty, and then you can grow the relationship. And I think that's the only shift is they're not going to make that mistake again.
Interesting, interesting. One of the things I find fascinating is the idea about which sort of institutions have a better chance of taking advantage of the AI moment, the larger ones or the smaller ones. I think there's a sort of assumption, well, if you're the larger ones, you've got the money, you've got the resources, but is that an assumption that maybe is not 100% true?
Yeah, so a couple years ago, that was an assumption that was true, but here's the real challenge where we're at today. You could have built it yourself 2 years ago, but 6 months after you built it, it's obsolete. So now you got to start over. So you're re-spending that money. And I think really it's a pivot. I think the mid-tier or small to medium institutions have a better shot today because they're focused on how is AI really going to impact what I'm doing with my customers as far as my products, my services, my risk models. Can I really use AI to drive better analytics to understand my customer while I partner with somebody that can provide great customer service, outreach, these different things. Again, these are solutions that are already there that work, And these companies today too, like ours, have great agentic frameworks that can communicate and connect to multiple other organizations. So we can move data across all these different channels, and we can also interact through several different omni-channels such as WhatsApp and these other. So I think with the mid-tier guys, I think are in a better position because they don't have all the smoke. And so these larger organizations have kind of set fire already, and now they're putting it out. And I think there'll be a shift back to where they'll start utilizing other companies that maybe can. I would argue today we can deploy certain AI for less money than you can build in-house. And that's because AI is that good today.
Right.
The only other thing I would add is there is a sustainability issue that's going to happen over the next couple of years. Tokens are going to go up. They're not going to get cheaper.
Sure.
Somebody has to pay for compute.
Right.
We're on electrical grids that at some point are going to reach capacity. We can't build data centers fast enough. So I think that's another area that you're going to have to partner with orgs that understand that.
It's an interesting point, and also leads me to my next question. It has to do with the idea of legacy tech, legacy infrastructures, and I know that that's one of the things that's got to be on the minds of financial institutions, large and small, is like, okay, we want to embrace these new technologies, we've got all of this legacy technology that we've got there. How do organizations understand the best way to sort of square that circle between the two?
Yeah, it's a very good question. So obviously we faced that when I was part of the team that acquired Inbenta. Inbenta's been around about 18 years. And so we completely moved to modern technology. We shifted to all, obviously scalable cloud solutions. But I think, the advantage is AI is capable of interacting with legacy tech as long as it can connect to any variety of data assets.
Right.
So it doesn't matter if it's structured, unstructured. It has the ability to formulate this plan to where you can utilize and get this content into an AI-ready environment. So that's very easy to do. The problem is if they already have enormous tech debt, they're bolting on top of that. And that's where using what I would classify as a partner to do a lot of that AI interactivity buys you and bridges a gap where you can focus on modernizing your infrastructure. But I think AI, honestly, is the answer. If you can't afford to completely rebuild a core system or invest in a new core system, one of the easiest ways to do it is to connect your knowledge and internal information into an org that can make it AI ready. And do it securely and right governance and be very transparent in the content is provided.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I'm thinking maybe by way of wrapping up, the last point I think follows on to my last question, and that's the idea of, for folks who are getting to know Inbenta here at the conference, what is one of the things you want them to have as a major takeaway about what the company can do for them?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing I would like them to understand is, listen, we're not an AI business that wants to boil the ocean. We want to figure out precisely where we fit. Can we help you solve an immediate issue? We want a guaranteed win. If an AI partner can operate with a guaranteed win mentality with you, then you shouldn't partner with them. There's guaranteed wins. That builds trust, that builds loyalty. And I think the other thing is someone should be able to show you how easy it is to do AI. Inbenta's 4 clicks. It's 4 clicks. We had a customer had a 1,000-page site, took 47 minutes to ingest it. We had them live at over 98% accuracy in under an hour.
Good grief.
That's where AI is at today.
No, it's fascinating. It's really something else that we're involved in. It's really great to have companies like Inbenta on board to kind of help us all navigate it a little bit.
Yeah, it was awesome. Thank you, David. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
And thank you as well.